Hi, welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts and this is True Divine 4-4. I appreciate you all being here. I'm going to be as quick as I can. So this is where I put out the daily content, the daily energy readings with tarot to give you the narrative to help deliver the greatness to yourself in your day, in any given way, with foresight to know the energies that you may face within, around you and within others. Take what resonates as it is general, and I couldn't give a if it doesn't resonate. You will not hurt this girl, I promise. So you can leave a comment as to how you are feeling the energies, as to how the energies are resonating with you that day. You never know who you're going to help just by your comment, just by your acknowledgement of a certain energy that you're working your way through or that you're feeling around you. So feel free to do that. This is for the 23rd of April 2021. There's something very strange about this day. There's a serenity, and there's also that is a false serenity. I can feel it, I can see it. And so there's that, but then there is this serenity that is of the divine, that is organic, that is of you working through those energies in order to be able to stay calm and serene no matter what the external forces are. So the first card is on the bottom of the deck, the Six of Swords. So this speaks to air penetrating water, chaotic emotions, chaotic thoughts, impregnating those emotions, limitations, curses on yourself, other people cursing you with these words, with these acknowledgements that aren't true or are not for your greatness. This impregnates the waters because those thoughts, you impregnate waters, and water has memory, and so you hold it and you're in these chaotic waters. In the Six of Swords, you are moving towards, or you are already in the journey to a calmer mental state, having done the work to transmute that energy and be in government of your brain, and be the governor of your thoughts, in order to then penetrate these waters to make it calm. So yes, where the Six of Swords does speak for some to moving away physically from somewhere, more so it speaks of the movement and the shift in the energies within. Even though the circumstances around you or the people around you may not have changed, there's a shift in your wisdom, in your ability to be able to reach that other destination, reach that balance point within self where your waters, your emotions are calm because your thoughts are in control, and are being of service to your water, to your water that holds memory. So it's a combination of the two with this card. So I love this card. It's an interesting card, but it does tell you the greatest wisdom in this card, I find more often than not, is that no matter what circumstance you are in, you can shift where your consciousness is lying, which will then become your reality. You have a greater chance of changing a reality into one that is for your greatness, that does hold you up, make you feel good, if you can master this card. So in doing this, it gives you that strength and power that you can take back by working on something that nobody else can do quite like you, and that is to get inside of you and work on those thoughts, work on really being very proactive in no matter what is being said around you, in bolstering yourself, in making yourself feel strengthened, speaking kind and beautiful, compassionate and strengthening words to yourself, to your inner waters. Do it all damn day. Nobody even needs to know you're doing it. You're doing it in that field of possibilities that you are a master at manipulating. You just need to unlock the skill set to do so. And often these difficult experiences, these difficult circumstances in life are great if we choose them to be training fields for entering into this other field of self, where you can manipulate all aspects of self, all realms of self, from this air, the swords, the words, the thoughts. So really powerful energy for a lot of you today, that is of great strength and valor, and being able to do this right now is so important, more important than ever. And so we have the Three of Cups in reverse on the bottom of the other deck, and this seems to be the separation of the people today. This immediately makes me see and feel people who are doing that, what do you call it? Oh, I keep forgetting. I'm going to write it somewhere where I can see it, where the victory salute, or like making a point of I'm ruining this business, I'm ruining these windows because I believe in this. This is why I'm hurting somebody else, because I believe in this. We see that a lot today. A lot of so-called leaders triggering people more and more into this devolved behavior, with reams of crowds of people around the world that are deliberately being triggered by so-called powers that be, and that those that aren't deliberately being triggered are quite happily triggering themselves. These people are very comfortable in this energy right now because they are too afraid to do that inner work. They're far too afraid to do this, the Six of Swords that a lot of you are doing. They're more afraid of that than anything else. So they will literally, instead of going inside, you see them exploding their emotions all over the place like confetti on the outside. And this is annoying, especially in the energies that we're in right now. We do not need, and this is exactly why they do it, exactly why they trigger these people, because this is exactly what we do not need. It deliberately takes away airtime, it deliberately takes away the impact and the importance of messages that a lot of you have got to give on subjects that we really do need to look at, for freedoms, for rights, for health, for abundance, for all of those things that are of great importance. Today we see a lot of triggered mentality, a lot of it manufactured and manipulated, a lot of them actors within the crowds, but it doesn't take too many actors. Just like one drop of dye will change the whole bath in colour, they just need to have one or two in different cities within these crowds that they know, if they've latched onto that sector of belief system, another religious system, basically, they know that if they just put one drop, one person in that crowd, it takes nothing for that one person to whip up the energies, manipulate the energies, break the window first kind of thing, which is so annoying because it is deliberate and it does take away. And for when it isn't deliberate, it is so annoying because it does take away from the impact of the message that actually would leave fruits for our children after we are left, that would make sure they weren't facing a present as we are right now. And it takes the impact away deliberately. So we're seeing that if these people are around you in your individual lives, there are very tough decisions to be made, because this is not going to go away. We're in the next wave. I'm going to go into that in another video. But we're moving now. They're shifting gears from the blue and the yellow. We're still keeping the blue and the yellow as foundational, to be able to whip up a wave whenever they need to. But this next wave is coming, which is obviously one of them, climate change. But we're going to see a lot more of the transgender pushing, a lot more of the children being affected by that. So you thought it was all over. It isn't now, kind of thing, which again is very annoying. So people that you have in your individual life that are like this, it is unlikely that it is going to get better. And for some of you, it is of great importance that you can take the decision to shift and move physically as much as you can away from these people, but for sure emotionally and mentally. And that ain't easy, I know, but it is something that will affect you greatly later down the line if that connection isn't severed, at least for now. So the sun has come out. If I could sing, I would sing you a song, but that would take away from the sun, believe you me. So this is where I want people to really start to innerstand and look at the full spectrum of light that is given from the sun and what it actually does do, the healing that it does, the different frequencies in the different spectrums of light, thinking of light as a being in itself with separate entities involved in whatever spectrum, i.e. realm, world, that light span lives in. We know there are other spectrums that we do not naturally see. And so it is very much so another layer of us, this light that seems somewhat invisible, intangible, but it is there. It feeds us. It is another nourisher we need to really understand this and get to grips with, and fight for the information to come forward in entirety regarding light energy, and exactly, because I know it heals so well, exactly what each spectrum does and how we can build things that will really focus that light, that healing on things. For me, I have a vision that if I was the gates of hell right now, what I would be doing with my money is doing things with light. I would be making sure that shopping centres had, and this is a business idea for any of you that are much more affluent than me, sell it. Honestly, UV light is killing bacteria. It is a sanitizer. So if you were, instead of having metal detectors in shopping centres, doctors, wards, even wards on the hospitals, honestly, if I had the money to be pitching it right now, and if I thought the government cared about health at all right now, I would be pushing it like crazy. So if you've got the money, write me some kudos in there. But, pushing that to the doctors and of the boards right now would be a great thing, to literally just have a bracket of UV light going around the doors. People are walking through them, having UV light that people walk on. You're going to be killing those bacteria. You're going to be lessening, actually really lessening, without the chemicals, without the contraindications of that, the impact of anything that is bacterial, viral. So that is one thing that I'm manifesting that somebody can do, because it's just a fantastic idea. And so this is where we really are, where there is the distraction that is coming up with climate change and the sun. It is for us, I think, to prepare and focus and actually look past the religious science, what it can do and the limitations as to what it can't do or the damages it does. Really start to push an inner stand in our spiritual community, light healing, light therapy, and pushing for it to be affordable and easy to do. So I mean, at the minute I'm building my mum a light tent, because she has that voice problem that she sang like a bird before. She was offered contract. She sings beautifully. I always had the gift as a child of listening to her while she was cleaning or working, listening to a professional sing with no training, no nothing. And she, after a thyroid got a bit unbalanced, she has this now, her voices will go mid-sentence, and they can't explain it, the vocal cords. I saw it in vision, then it got confirmed medically that they were in vibration, they were just like spasming. And so I'm working right now on building her a tent, with pipes stuck together, so I can put the different light spectrum that she can just sit in, and we'll work out, we'll keep a diary as to what works, how much time she spent in there on a little chair, in order to do this for her, to heal this spasm that the vocal cords are in. And so there's a lot to dig into there, so much more that is being hidden from us there. And I feel and I know there are things to be looking at, and I won't speak on them unless I feel confident, but I know trusted people who I trust. Go over to Wayne's channel, a lot of introspection and contemplation about the sun. But what I do see energetically is that we are experiencing the natural sunshine coming around in the UK. The days are beautiful, but we are also seeing, for the benevolence of the sun and the way it can make us feel good, and we have less viruses, or more, but they're not as serious, because we're probably out in the sun. It doesn't take Sherlock to know what is going on there. We're seeing that and this is what they do, they meet force with force. So where we start to come into a much greater inner standing and a much more connective place with the sun and the impact of what it can do, and what we can do for it, is it's being demonized. So they get ahead with that. So expect this to be getting pushed down your throat, the demonization of the sun. what I'd like people to get to a place of, that this, now they've seen the reaction of people complying in enough numbers to the ridiculous, draconian and nonsensical rules that they have been doing over the past nearly 2 years. We see that they are getting ahead now in demonizing the sun, and I feel we do not know enough about it to be able to fight back. I know there's so many of people who are far more knowledgeable than me that know a lot more already. I'm just saying the connections to the energy points, there's even more to be found there. And in this enlightenment period, well, it's dualistic, isn't it? Because there's this enlightenment period with some, and there's this like comatose general anesthetic with others. Again, the duality, the balance. We really need to be digging into the possibilities and thinking outside of the box of the light spectrum, of the sun, of light itself as a being, and all of its separate bodies as we are within this body, the different frequencies and what it can do. We also need to be looking at, from the so-called powers that be, the fact that they are owning frequencies. They have done for a very long time, but just like they have patented, you know, this thing that's been going on for so long now, the patenting of frequencies or certain aspects of what they can do in those frequencies. That's ridiculous. That's not even a hop, skip, and a jump from patenting oxygen and saying you can only take so much of it. Or if you're not doing the right thing, if you're not living the right way, you can't take any of it. Sorry, we've got a patent. So there's that. So we do need to be ready. We do need to seek enlightenment. We do need to be doing things actively under the sun. With the Four of Wands clarifying it, this is all about bringing it into the home, introspection into how you can plant yourself, root yourself, grow your own fruits, grow your own berries, and get to know the sun so well, get to know what it does and when, and who does best in the shade with, or dappled light, or in full light in the garden with the sun. I'm really digging into this, quite literally, digging in a bit too hard to try and get things prepared for that. So I would encourage everybody to be doing that right now. And at the end of the day, regardless of the fear-mongering and the demonization that is coming, and we think we've seen it, you haven't seen nothing yet, that is coming, this next wave, this next spell work of the demonization and separation of us from the sun, the same way they've separated us from our loved ones for this invisible force that may get us or may not. This is coming in gusto. So it's for us to bring this back home, and really get back into relationship with the sun and the energies that it gives, and being in connection with that, and to seek enlightenment within that, within all experiences, for us to really get serious and dig deep about the enlightenment. And some of that enlightenment is about how you protect your home, what you can be in relationship with the sun with, in order to create an abundance of food, of health in your home, of happiness. Everything looks a bit brighter. There's beautiful scenery in the winter, of course there is, and every season has its own beauty. So enjoy the beauty of this season where the sun is at its most powerful, and really, you know, absolutely magnetize in the opposite direction, but, you know, impulse it away from you, this demonization of the sun, because at the end of the day, there are things to take into account. But if those things are to be taken into account, those things are life cycles. And I feel that a lot of people need to be able to, within the external forces that are trying to limit and oppress so much and squeeze so much right now, a lot of people need to maybe get to the space of less fear, and also a space of, okay, well, I'm going to make sure I live well, and I'm going to make sure I die well. When I'm here, I'm going to live well and die well. You know, whatever is with the sun. That's a being in itself. It's in a process of its own. It is in connection with us. And so it's not for us to give space over, particularly in our home, regarding enlightenment and regarding the physical in our home, of what this light brings to us, the harvest, making hay while the sun shines, basically. And that's what everybody needs to be doing right now. making hay while the sun shines. Another thing I've come to understand is super important, and then as the universal energies do, brought the information. I've forgotten the doctor's name, but she spoke about something I'd started doing, putting water out in the sun. And so putting that water out in the sun, I was working on the pond that I'm putting in, and feeling the light, you know, through the water, and knowing the frequency that it was impregnating that water with. And then this doctor speaks on, you know, put your water out in the sun. Before we had such polluted streams and waters, you know, it was really healthy to find a healthy stream and you could drink from it. And that because all day long it's running, it's filtering through the stones, and at the same time it's being pummeled with the full spectrum of the sun, which cleanses and impregnates with far more too, that I'm digging into in a stand more. So being prepared, the water, the sun drying up period, that's going to be part of the oppression next. That's going to be a big drive. Be prepared on that, and also just on a daily basis, try it out. Try putting a big vat of water out in the morning sunshine and drinking from that, and then bringing it in at night and drinking from that throughout the night, and see the difference. Chart it with the diary so you can keep up to date with it, and see how it feels going down. I feel a difference, and so yeah, try that out too. Whoever that was for to hear that. So the Two of Pentacles, again, this separation is happening from a very deep part of me that I'm really working hard to cut out some of the days, is this soul separation, this absolute severing of a being, with the roll-up a sleever being a huge aspect of that, and a huge way of them being able to do that. Now I'm still digging into that psychically as to what that is about, why they wanted to limit the number of souls. I think part of it is, for those who survive it, is to have a host body that is biologically working, costs nothing to run, and being able to very easily be a host to something that doesn't necessarily want to be in the physical, or may necessarily not be able to be in the physical, but quite happy to hitch a ride in the brain of a host. There's a lot of that going on, and you can feel it real deeply, and it's very dark. It is. There is also this separation that we're seeing continuing between people who are devolving. Their chakras are spinning out. They've screwed them too many times. There's no thread there anymore. To people who are finding huge enlightenments about self, about their own self, and how they plant that and put that into their reality that they're living in. So the duality is still very much alive, and very, very much a contrast from one side to the other. It's difficult, it's sad. It does speak of lines being separated, and I don't know quite seriously how that would be brought back. I still need to dig into what they're doing with this soul energy. What are they powering with it? Because I've definitely seen that. So I still need to dig out into the deeper layers of it, but it ain't nice, and it does make you contemplate. Okay, so is that, is that line gone? Is that part of that line gone now? And why? What are they doing that for exactly? It's some kind of powering up that they're doing with it. I don't know, other than that, but I am digging into it, and it'll keep unraveling as my visions do over time. But it is difficult to contemplate. We have the Hierophant here, so the number 5 major arcana, and this is the teacher, the role of the conduit of knowledge and wisdom, of the exoteric, mesoteric, and esoteric, of all of the layers that are represented in the staff here and in the 3 layers of the crown. And this is where I really do feel there's been this gatekeeper of organized religion. I really do feel a lot of people digging on one side, digging real deep into their roots, into their belief systems, no matter what is put before them, and other people releasing themselves from that chain. They've suddenly got the eyes to see and ears to hear, so to speak, and to release themselves from those chains that bound them into their own wisdom, their own knowledge, their own inner workings, and how this Hierophant speaks about how you have all of this spiritual knowledge, how you still seek after the mystery, but without getting too lost on the other side too, because that's another separation that we see people in the spiritual communities like blowing like a balloon that you let go, because they've forgotten to stay grounded in these energies. So yeah, they're coming up with sometimes, not always, huge enlightenments, but the physical life is nowhere to be seen. They've separated from all that loved them. They've separated from, and what the Hierophant speaks about is, yes, having that mystery, but having the balance. It's always about balance, being able to draw those mysteries into the physical. And I spoke about this yesterday, and how you, especially with this Two of Pentacles, how you implant them into your physical reality. The Two of Pentacles speaks of juggling a lot, and juggling two aspects of your life that are hard to maintain. It's hard to maintain that juggle, keep the plate spinning, so to speak. So this would be, okay, it's all well and good having the mystery, having the inner standing and having the knowledge. How do I then plant that and root that to make it so that I don't have to juggle anymore, that I can focus on my reality in a much more effective manner, and being able to create the reality that I want to be in. And so this is a really powerful card for a lot of people to maintain that balance too. It's not all love and light. It's getting that love, it's getting that light, it's getting that inner standing, then bring it down into the roots, into the darkness, and seeing how you can create more from that in the physical reality. So the Hierophant's all about using all of the aspects of self and managing to project it out like a projector into the reality that you're in. So we've got the 6 again, but this time it's the 6 of Wands. So this is huge victory for a lot of people in doing the practices that I've just been speaking about. Some of you might hear about some land that you have your eye on today, and that energy is awesome, because that's exactly what I'm aiming for. So if that's you, well done, and it will be abundant. So full intent, if this is you that I'm speaking to, behind that it is absolutely abundant for you, that it is absolutely the right thing, and that everything just runs miraculously and strangely smoothly. So there's victory in that for one of you, awesome, but more so there is victory in this inner work, being able to see the results of that in the home and then in the physical of the home, and how that balances out to create this enlightenment with the sun. Your home is where the heart is. So where is your heart? Resonating with that and building your home where your heart is, being able to let go of something that you've been juggling that isn't working in your physical life because of the enlightenments that you've brought down into your physical reality from the mysterious realm of possibilities. And so there's victory in all of that. There's a victory in the UK here today, and it is a release of chains saying the pandemic's over. Not everything's open yet. No, you can't go swimming, or you can't do this, you can't do that. The trains are cancelled, but it's over, done, finito. That's what they're saying. So we'll see. The Devil card in reverse. To the 6 of Wands. Now, the Devil card is largely misunderstood. In the upright, it speaks of how you are bound, how you are chained to something that is keeping you in a lower vibration, that is keeping you in a limited stance, or you are attached to it. It has control over you, like addictions, rather than you having control over it. The Devil is a teacher, and a great teacher, and the devil is in the detail, and the detail is all within us. This devil, often seen as Baphomet, the half goat, half man, the way that this speaks of both divine feminine and divine masculine balance. Sorry, I'm just taking that off because I can see notifications popping up and I don't want it to beep. So yeah, the divine masculine and divine feminine balance. And in the release of in the reverse, sorry, there is this release of the chains. So this kind of enlightenment and work that we've already been speaking about in the other cards being so impactful. And in the reverse, the devil becomes the balance of this, and no longer becomes the literal scapegoat, this creature that gets the blame for everything. Oh, it's the devil's work. Oh, it's the devil, devil, devil. No, nothing ever gets solved like that. The devil is within you. Those horns being, you know, like the fallopian tubes, the wings that often are depicted on a lot of the devil cards enveloping you are actually something that is holding you through. You haven't died yet. You're going through this experience of being bound and chained, yes, but then with it flipping in the reverse, it shows that there is great works being done towards your greatness, because now you've absolutely flipped that script. Whatever is holding you and oppressing you with those chains in the reverse, it is about releasing the control over whoever has it over you or whatever has it over you, releasing that control and taking that back, and having the wealth of experience and knowledge that is being gained within that experience to then have the root, the building blocks of you, the strength of you, the wisdom that all of that experience has brought you. So it creates the balance between good and evil. And the balance of good and evil is within us, for want of better words, energy. And so it's to create that balance, because to not be absolutely outside of the world, to be a part of it, to be a progressive part of it. But when we come across things that we get addicted to or get chained to energetically, sexual relationships that you're bound to, even though they're ended, these cords and chains, we have many of them. And it is a huge thing that this is in reverse, because this is you literally having your devil in your detail, being able to, against all of the odds, release yourself and come into balance with yourself, to be able to be in control of yourself. And so it's a huge, I can't express, and a lot of you are feeling this today, a huge accomplishment and a huge leveling up of where you have been to where you are today. And so that's the victory here for a lot of you in your individual lives. As far as on the collective stage, it feels like there's going to be some kind of victory in France. It feels like there's going to be some kind of, I don't know, march or something, some kind of vindication, or that somehow the French people are going to force the French government's hand on something that they do not want to happen, which is great news if that's coming up today. As far as the US goes, there is a lot of release today, as well as we've got these dimwits around, you know, being triggered here, there, and everywhere like little bombs. There is a huge release today of people who have been deeply embedded and connected to the political and government affiliation, having pride in it and being bound by it, really, because of that love and pride for that part of the system. So whatever's happening there today, there is a huge release. And that goes back to this victory of you're able to see things more clearly. These chains, somehow, something is done or said today that a lot of people just go, all right, okay, the theorists are right now, this is a show. That's what it feels like. So that is really, really powerful. And it is no longer are you other people's scapegoats either, if this is resonating with you. I feel a lot of you who are resonating with this have been in that role within the family, within the friends, of being the scapegoat. but you being able to release yourself from those chains and create that balance of your divine feminine, of your divine masculine, shows that the release of that is a huge victory, because you didn't know how much pressure you were under until it's released. That's what I can feel. And so you feel that release, so you ride that victory wave, and this just streams of downloads and inner standings about self all feed into one, to this Six of Swords, this huge amount of growth, and being able to transmute energies like a pro, and to be in dominion and control over your elements is very, very powerful and amazingly strong, and a beautiful reading to give. So thank you. So I appreciate you all for going through those energies, because it is great to see the goodness that is here in abundance too. Because we don't hear about it on the news, but we feel it. We feel it with each other. There's great things happening between like-minded people, and I appreciate you all for being a part of my like-minded peoples. I appreciate and love you. So that's the reading for the 23rd of April 2021. It wasn't short as per. I'm trying to get them shorter, but it doesn't work. I've got so much to say. On each card, you could go on forever, which is why I love tarot, which is why I love reading for you, which is why I love doing personal readings. So hit me up if you want a personal reading, energy work sessions, or any spiritual coaching sessions. Hit me up at truedivinemedia@gmail.com. Have a great, great day. Reach for your greatness, ride your victories, shine bright, and be bold. I appreciate you all. Mwah. End. Where's the thing? There you are.